Hello, I'm Timothy Holder, and I want to talk for just a couple of minutes about the faith of Abraham Lincoln. It's kind of a complicated story. When Lincoln was a young man, he was not religious. Perhaps the reason why he would have turned against the faith that would have been so prevalent around him, it might have been the tragedies that he experienced. When he was a little boy, his mother died, and several years later, his sister died as she was giving birth. After that, Lincoln fell in love with a woman, and before they got married, she died. When he does get married eventually and has kids, there's tragedy there too. And so there's a lot of sadness in Lincoln's life. And there was a faith tradition, a Christian tradition that he was a part of that basically said God controlled everything that happened. So perhaps Lincoln's attitude about his soul and the afterlife and all of that stuff was just kind of whatever, God's going to do what God's going to do and I have no control over it. Perhaps. Lincoln never formally joined a church. And so all of that paints a picture of the man. And yet, when Lincoln became president and the Civil War was happening, increasingly he talked about God and he quoted scripture. And you could say, well, he's just a politician trying to pander to religious voters. And that might be true. And yet Lincoln had gotten elected to the House of Representatives and gotten elected as president without playing the religion card. So I don't know that the most logical explanation is he was just all of a sudden as a politician thinking, hey, this will get people to like me. It seems plausible, it seems reasonable, it has certainly happened in the lives of other people, that Lincoln increasingly turned to faith because he was so bogged down by the difficulties of his life. Certainly the Civil War was this incredibly divisive thing in the country. The country had literally torn itself apart, and families had torn themselves apart over what they were going to do and what path we were going to take as a nation and as a people. And so it wouldn't be a totally shocking thing that because his responsibilities were so heavy, Lincoln found peace through faith. There was a newspaper article that ran a few months before Lincoln died, and the article writer said that Lincoln had told some friends that he wasn't a Christian as a young man, and he wasn't a Christian when he became president, but he turned to his faith after visiting the fields of Gettysburg after the battle there. So is that true? Possibly it is. Nobody came out and said, no, wait a minute, I was quoted and Lincoln never said that to me. So what do we do with that? I don't know. There was also a widespread belief that Lincoln had said he was going to join a Presbyterian church after he left the White House. But of course, he didn't have a chance to retire because he was assassinated. So did Lincoln become a man of faith? There's certainly a lot of evidence there to indicate that he did. And certainly there are a lot of cases, a lot of times throughout history where people have been not religious, but they've turned to faith in difficult times. So just wanted to share a few words there on Lincoln and his faith. And I can't help but wonder if, even with all he was facing towards the end of his life, Lincoln was able to choose joy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.